Hello, my name is Kevin Probst, and I'm coming to you from Kevin's Corner in West Central Georgia on this 10th day of July in 2025. And today, I want to talk to you about the mystery and the controversy surrounding the Jeffrey Epstein case. President Trump seems to have reneged on his campaign promise to release the Epstein files. He recently blasted a reporter for asking questions about Epstein. He expressed his frustration for a press that is obsessed with the Epstein case, but there are legitimate reasons to be asking questions. Epstein was not just a suspected pedophile. He was a convicted pedophile. In June of 2008, he pleaded guilty of soliciting prostitution from a minor. If the suspicions of most Americans regarding what they perceive to be a cover-up are simply conspiracy theories, then the best antidote to conspiracy theories is to whitewash them. Scrub them away by applying the cleansing waters of truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Juliet Bryant, a former model, makes some pretty heart-rending accusations, claiming she was raped at least 3 times a day on Epstein's island. Can she prove this is true? Can the U.S. intelligence agencies investigating what went on at Epstein's island prove this did not happen? Where are the visitors' logs? Epstein had cameras everywhere. Where's the footage from these cameras? Who are the persons recorded by these cameras? Both Kash Patel and Dan Bongino from the FBI have changed course after taking up residence in their offices in Washington, D.C. They are now convinced that Epstein committed suicide and was not murdered. Bongino indicated that there was one camera, and the video proves no one entered Epstein's cell. The video has been released, and Epstein's cell door is not pictured in the video. Suspicions multiplied when it was discovered that 30 seconds of the video was missing. I think most Americans are very willing to believe Epstein committed suicide. Please convince the American people by releasing the same evidence that convinced you. Mountains of evidence indicate that Jeffrey Epstein was child trafficking and exploiting children sexually. Why won't the DOJ act on this? Why is Trump and Bondi stonewalling the American people? Make America great again with open transparency. It seems obvious that the only answer is that our intelligence gathering operational system is based on blackmailing the rich and the famous. It feels like the deep state is rolling out the welcome mat for President Trump and his team. Why do politicians who go to D.C. lose their political backbone? Why do conservative Supreme Court justices betray conservatism once they are installed on the court? Is it because there is a record of every individual's depravity on file? Exposing Epstein would expose the corruption of exploiting children in the government's methods of gathering information and blackmailing the rich and to acquire their wealth and influence for political and financial benefit? Was Jeffrey Epstein working for American intelligence? Was he working for Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency? I can imagine President Trump recently meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and the two of them discussing how peace in the Middle East would be impossible if the methods and means of these national intelligence agencies were revealed to the respective citizens of their countries. Virginia Giuffre, the woman who accused Prince Andrew of sexually exploiting her, was one of Epstein's most prominent victims. Prince Andrew denied her accusations, but he settled with Giuffre in 2022 for an undisclosed but assumably substantial sum. Giuffre was recruited by Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, while she was working as a spa attendant at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's Palm Beach Club, in 2000. Virginia Giuffre died in Australia at the age of 41, and her cause of death is unclear. And the claim is that she committed suicide, but her father believes that somebody gut her. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted on federal charges of sex trafficking, child sex trafficking, and was sentenced to 20 years in prison. She recruited underage children, some as young as 14, for Epstein's pleasure and for his clients. If she was convicted of child sex trafficking, who are these children and who are they being trafficked to? Are we to believe that they don't know the names of those who abuse these victims? If there are victims, there are also perpetrators. Is it not known that assassins often cover their crime by suiciding their targets? We may never know whether Virginia Giuffre was murdered or whether she committed suicide, but her family deserves to know the truth about their daughter. We may never know whether Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide or was he murdered, but the victims and their families and the American people deserve to know the truth. I voted for Donald J. Trump because I felt like he would do what he said he would do. He said he would expose what the U.S. intelligence organizations were covering up regarding the Epstein case. He promised to bring justice to the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. In a memo released by the Department of Justice in July 2025, it was reported that Epstein harmed over 1,000 victims. This same memo states that this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. Are we to believe that there were 1,000 victims, but the DOJ could not find any of the people responsible for abusing these victims? Why are we not hearing the voices of 1,000 victims? Have they been bought off? Are they too frightened? If they step forward and speak up, are they frightened that they might suffer the same fate as Virginia Giuffre? Why? After promising to end the cover-up, does the cover-up continue? Americans' trust in their government has been in decline since the 1960s, and for good reason. Is it not possible to make America great again while fostering distrust in the American government? I think not. Americans can tolerate a lot, but there's a very high intolerance for the sexual abuse of our children. Americans have learned to turn their heads and ignore a lot of things the government does, but failure to investigate and prosecute properly those who would abuse our children cannot and will not be tolerated. Questions must be answered. Was Epstein an agent working for our own intelligence agency? Was the U.S. government complicit in using children for the purpose of creating blackmail opportunities to entrap the rich and famous, or perhaps to checkmate our politicians for political purposes? Is the cover-up necessary? Because if the truth were really to be known, the decent people of America would turn against a government that used children like pawns on a chessboard. Americans want to know if this is the standard operating procedure of our intelligence agencies and the U.S. Department of Justice. This should not be tolerated from a people who want a government which derives its power from its own citizens, of the people, for the people, and by the people. The American people want justice for those women who were raped on Epstein's island. We don't care if they are famous. We don't care how much power they have. We don't care about the money they have. We don't care if they are former presidents or presently serve as president. We don't care if they are congressmen or Supreme Court justices. We don't care if they are famous and influential athletes, entertainers, or CEOs of powerful corporations. Our Lady Justice is blind. She is not partial. She is not biased. And she cannot be bought off by wealthy, famous, and powerful people. Has her blindfold been ripped off? We have experienced a two-tier system of justice for a very long time now. There's a growing frustration among Americans as we have seen crimes committed and we have heard promises made, but no one is going to jail. Americans are frustrated by a government and a media who perceives us to be too naive and ignorant to discern whether we are hearing the truth or simply being fed more lies. We are not so easily duped by the propaganda forced upon us. President Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino. You promised if elected and appointed, you would clean up the mess. Instead, it feels like you are now covering it up. The solution to it all seems overly simple. If there is no list of clients, and if Epstein actually did commit suicide, and if those invited to his island paradise committed no crimes, then show us the evidence. If those visitors to Epstein's island have nothing to hide, why would they care if their names are released? If all those celebrities and politicians and the world's most powerful people were simply friends of Epstein, who loved him so much they frequented his island on a regular basis because he was such a great guy, then release the documents and the evidence that has convinced you that we should just move on and have no concerns about this. If this evidence cannot be produced, or if there is an unwillingness to produce it, then, by all means, don't believe you sell to the American people that this is all simply a nothing burger. Thank you for spending time with me today. If you have an interest in videos that cover materials like this, please like and subscribe free to Kevin's Corner on YouTube or Substack. That'd be very helpful to me. Until next time, this is Kevin Probst from Kevin's Corner.